This show is supported by you. Stick around till the ad break to hear more about that. This is Cup of Go for May 7th, 2026. Keep up to date with the important happenings in the Go community in about 20 minutes per week. I'm Shai Ahmad.
I'm Jonathan Hall. Is it still May 7th?
Yeah, it might be a little late.
It is as we record, barely.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be listening to this on the 8th or later. We're recording late before Shai takes off tomorrow.
Potentially. I very much hope that I'll fly soon. So I was supposed to be in Israel a while ago. Yeah. And as things shook out there, I was not able to fly. And now I'm really hoping I will be able to fly. And we'll see how that goes. If so, you won't hear me for a little while. And we might take a break. We might have some guest co-hosts. We'll see until I come back. Other than that, I might sound kind of weird. Because I usually record this show standing up. But today I can't. Twisted my knee playing basketball.
Oh, man.
You got to support me somehow. Give me some good Go news to cheer me up.
I have some good Go news to cheer you up. And that is that GopherCon has published their schedule.
Which GopherCon?
The GopherCon. The original. The one and only. The GopherCon will be in Seattle in August 3rd through 6th. I have purchased my tickets. I haven't purchased my hotel, but I have my flight and my ticket. So I might be sleeping under a bridge there, but I will be there.
Well, that's a common thing in Seattle, right?
Yeah, it's common there. I'll be welcome, I'm sure.
Underneath the bridge.
But you should come join me. I'm really looking forward to some of these sessions. There's this one called Afternoon Beverage Break that I am super excited about. The other ones, I don't know. There's one here called S-Log, Left on the Table.
Hot damn.
Do you use S-Log?
Of course. I honestly, you know what? That was too quick of an answer. Until up to recently, I used, I think, a zero log.
Yeah.
Because that was pretty good. And also, but S-Log is just good enough. It does the same as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure that there are like performance considerations that I'm not aware of, but it's never been a problem for me. And I'm really happy to cut down on, you know what I mean, on dependencies and just use the standard library where I can. So I moved from zero log to S-Log. But I guess I missed something because it left some things on the table.
Yeah. If you didn't know, S-Log left a couple things on the table that Dylan Bork, I hope I say that right, from CoreWeave will be teaching us about some testing stuff. Basically, he's created a library that extends S-Log. He's going to talk about how to improve your testing with S-Log and how you can change your verbosity levels per component in your application at runtime. So that's one I'm looking forward to. I'm a big fan of S-Log.
Oh, that sounds problematic. What do you mean?
You mean the runtime part?
Yeah. I define globally, I want info, and then suddenly some component can decide on their own and move it to debug.
The idea is that you could say, I am trying to debug the foo widget. I need debug level there for 20 minutes. And you don't want to have to redeploy the app or restart the app. So you can toggle a switch somewhere that turns on debugging just for that component for while you're debugging and then turns it back off again.
You know what? That is actually fire. I take back all my disdain.
But there's one other talk here I really think that you specifically, Shai, should come to Seattle for, and that is From Go to Factorio, What Games Can Teach Us About Compilers.
Oh, my God. I have to go. Have you played Factorio? Do you understand my obsession with this game?
I do not. I think I may have installed it once, maybe, and got confused before I got into it.
I highly recommend you and I do a live stream when I come back, 5 hours on Twitch with our, hey, listeners, if you're actually into it, I'll buy you a copy of the game. And you and I just play Factorio for 5 hours and see to what science we can get before we kill each other. It might end the podcast and our friendship, but on the other hand, we might be best friends after it. It's honestly one of the best games I've ever played. I've finished it 3 times.
Is it competitive? We would be competing, or we would be collaborating in this scenario?
So that's a highly interesting team dynamic question. If you and I were programmers in a team, do you think we'd feel competitive and like who's finishing the most PRs or has the biggest impact or leaves the most code review comments? Or
I would use the most tokens, but I think we will be collaborative.
I get to be a little competitive sometimes. Like if someone doesn't accept my design in a design discussion, I'll be all uppity about it for a little while.
Right.
I played with a few friends. Shout out to Omer and Olga and Avishai. We had like a group going for a long time. And we had one guy, like he would build part of the factory and then he would come in and like you go back to check on your automation an hour later or whatever. You see it's completely rebuilt. You just refactored it without talking to you. That was very contentious. Anyway, it's a great game. And I think legitimately it can teach you a lot about programming. I don't know what it can teach you specifically about compilers, but man, I really want to watch the recording of that.
Yeah, you will know after you watch that presentation.
Ah, damn. I might make it. Let's see. I'm now that I see the agenda, I'm suddenly tickled to go.
Hope to see you there, Shai. If not, then we can do a Factorio live stream afterwards once I know how it can teach me about compilers.
Mm-hmm. See if it's worth it.
What else do we have to talk about this week, or is it just games?
I wish it was just games. I actually, a little bit inside baseball here. I don't know, because I refreshed Trello and their status page is down. So how about you tell me?
Okay. Well, next up on my agenda here is the security release that just dropped today for Go 1.26.3 and 125.10.
So this is a big one. We counted 3 times just to make sure it includes 11 security fixes. And some of them are pretty interesting. Obviously, we can't go through 11 security fixes in an audio show, but there are a few I want to highlight. First one is if you're into like memory management or like me, you started in assembler and C. So there's a classic double free in lookup CNAME in the CGO DNS resolver, which I think is only relevant in the Linux implementation as well. Another big L for Linux people, such as Jonathan.
Yeah, but I don't use CGO, so.
Exactly. So what's happening here is I actually read the code to try and understand it, and I think I do understand it. There's a DNS resolver, right, in CGO _unix.go in the net library. There's a function called res search or CGO res search, which is like a DNS CNAME resolver, right? And you got to put the name in a buffer, right? That makes sense. And if the buffer is really, really long and the host name, is really, really long, it doesn't fit. And then you have to like allocate a bigger buffer so you can fit the entire message because you sort of reuse the buffer, but you end up releasing it twice, which is unfortunate. Like calling free twice if it's only in that path. So instead, you just call cfree in a defer.
So this will show my ignorance, or more like forgetfulness. It's been so long since I've done C. I was never very good at it.
Don't worry, nobody is.
Apparently, releasing that memory twice is not like a repeatable thing to do. It's not releasing the same memory. Is it like truncating something again? Or is it that memory might be already used by something else by then? Or what is the actual problem?
So a double free in C is undefined behavior, which means anything can happen. If were it idempotent, it would have been really bad because it would have meant that somewhere C would have to track all the things that were freed. So you can free them again and nothing happens. That basically means you have to implement a runtime and whatever, and then you end up with like C# or any language that does that stuff for you. And then you don't. At that point, you're like, well, I wrote this thing that tracks everything that needs to be freed. Why do people need to call free? And hey, you implemented a garbage collector. So it's undefined behavior. In practice, what happens is it causes corruption in the state of the memory manager. And then you're like, basically, a lot of the time, it'll just like seg faults. And sometimes I think in the worst cases, it fails silently for a year. And then something else changes, like in the way that memory is laid out in your program, completely unrelated, and your program starts failing. Yes. So when in this change that was introduced, it's released in a closure. So instead of deferring the direct free call, you defer it in a function. The closure captures buff and it picks up a reallocated buffer if needed. Tiny detail, but very interesting. Kind of hard to read. Like it took me multiple reads. It's very hard. You need to read the for and whatever. Hard catch. So, of course, we can't mention this specific issue without mentioning who reported it. Who reported this one?
Hamayan. Double allocated username to go along with a double free bug report.
You can't make this stuff up. Actually, a web security enthusiast, I think from Japan, because their Twitter profile is in Japanese. I know you don't visit Twitter anymore, but I do. I have a user, and now everything's auto-translated automatically. So it shows you translated from Japanese, but it's all in English. Pretty cool.
That special XAI over there doing that.
Yeah, definitely. But pretty cool. Thank you, Hamayan, if that is your real name and we're not mispronouncing it. Another one that I wanted to talk about, which caught my eye because it taught me about a new Go subcommand. What does Go bug do?
It bugs me that you ask.
Because you don't know?
Because I don't know.
It's a chance for you to learn something and for me to teach you, which is great. But I also didn't know what it did. So I opened up Google Groups discussion from September 6th, 2016. I was still in the army. I was just learning about Go at the time, I think. And lo and behold, Josh Bleeker-Snyder is reporting things. Sometimes I forget how much experience that guy has. Anyway, they added a Go bug subcommand. I typed that into my terminal, and what it does is it opens up a GitHub issue with all of the Go version and Go env stuff on my machine. Where's the Go cache? What's the Go env? What are my GCC flags? What's my Go mod cache? OS path? Just all the things that you would need to do. And also, my computer version and whatever. So when I report a bug, it has all these very, very useful, pieces of information about my computer. What is the bug report or what is the security issue? These files were written to a predictable file in TMP. Now, why would that be a problem? Let's see if you can do the offensive part.
Because I could put a symlink in that location that points somewhere nefarious.
Exactly. So you can access, if you have access to temp, which is not a high bar, right? Basically, any process can access it. And you put a symlink, you can cause Go bug, which is probably being executed by a developer running sudo or whatever, to overwrite the target of the symlink and destroy something on their machine. Again, by the way, note only
or possibly,
on Linux.
I don't know if that would possibly share any privileged information if Go bug could write information that might be privileged for a user.
So it writes a lot of things where my Go is with a full path, which includes my username and, my exact machine version and whatever. So it's good for recon. Doesn't include obviously, any passwords or anything
overt
like that.
Secrets. Right.
But still it's a lot of recon info. If you already have code running on my machine, I guess it's not as important because you can just run Go env yourself. Sure. But if you don't, that's interesting. And also just why, if it's a temporary file that nobody should know about, let's not use a predictable file name. Another big L for Jonathan. This is also only on Linux. Yeah, this was fixed as well. Now it's just using MK temp, right? What's the function name I'm looking for?
OS MK temp dir or something to that effect.
Yeah, mkdir temp.
Mkdir temp.
Yeah. So instead of using the temporary directory exactly and then writing it to very predictable file paths, it's creating a random directory within the temp directory and then writing it there. Small detail, but very cool. And also, now I learned about Go bug. So next time I have a bug, or any of the listeners, when is the next Go version coming out? August-ish, something like that?
Should be. Yep.
It's close to the end of the freeze time. So as we, pick up the RC versions and start playing around with those, if you have a bug report, report it using Go bug.
There it is.
I didn't know about that. All right. So long C names, new commands, all these things I'm learning about just because of the Go security release notes, which is pretty interesting. The final one I wanted to mention was a panic. And the reason I wanted to mention it is for balance. I've told you
I'm glad you're mentioning this because I was going to have to if you didn't.
Yeah. I've been mentioning all these security issues
my
in
poor
Linux.
little Linux heart over here is just feeling crushed.
Yeah. There's a panic that's only in Windows. So everybody gets a security vulnerability. Don't worry about it.
And this one doesn't come from Microsoft.
I'm the number one noted Microsoft hater in my company. So I just want to make sure that I'm not breaking any stereotypes. But yeah, when you're specifically in Windows and you're doing dial or lookup port, there's a syscall for just like translating a string. So, you're trying to call dial with a specific address, right? Hostname or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you had a null character in the input, it would panic, both in net.dial, net.lookupPort, and syscall.readLink. Now, instead of panicking, it raised an error. I have a question for you. Why is this a security vulnerability and not just, a bug fix? Why is Panic introducing a security aspect instead of just being like, oh, we found a bug?
I would imagine it's because of the DOS concern. If I can find some way to cause your thing to panic, I can bring your service down.
Got it. And this is actually input that's relevant because you can pass like a bad port that's like port 1234 and then null byte. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I guess if there's some sort of networking, I don't know. It would be unusual, in my opinion, to pass unsanitized data to dial.
Yeah, but if you're implementing like a proxy, you're reading it from somewhere, you know what I mean?
Right. So like if you're doing something where you already, So I think it would be a legitimate thing.
Anyway, it's good that it's fixed just because it would be a weird bug to
Although
find.
Who's running a service on Windows for public consumption, I guess.
Well, who's trying to run it? GitHub.
Oh, there you go.
Who's successfully running it? I don't want to be a hater. It's me. I'm using Azure as well. And honestly, Azure is okay. If we have any people here who work on, in the listeners who are working on Azure, you're doing all right. I'm enjoying using your cloud. All right. There are more interesting security things going on here, including the malicious model proxy, but I think that's enough security notes for one day. What else is on our radar? Trello is still down, and I can't tell what our backlog is.
Next up, something that actually comes from a listener who emailed us and has shared a new project called GoSimDB.
Paired with another Go project called CLI-Bridge, which is not a Go project, but is very relevant, so we'll mention it.
So I think you've looked at this maybe slightly longer than I have, Shai. Maybe you can explain sort of the high level what GoSimDB is, because I don't really understand it.
So Stefano Mioli shared this with us. At first, I had your thinking it's like an agent something tool, dev tool. Use it with an MCP. And I was like, whatever. But then I actually read it and I think it's a very, very interesting approach. So let's start with this context. When you edit code, the human Jonathan, you edit code manually, not telling an agent to do something.
Right.
Imagine this is like 2021. What do you open to edit the code?
Usually in 2021, I was opening VS Code.
VS Code, cool.
Mean? Yeah.
What if it was a Go file? What else did you run to like get all the features you wanted and to like understand the code faster and be able to like search and replace and be able to follow definitions and like understand all these things?
Yeah, so VS Code's Go plugin, which of course relies heavily on Go Please and some syntax highlighting, a few other things like that. Yeah, right.
I think this is the best lens to explain GoSimDB from. So Go Plus is the like language server, right? You can ask it, hey, what is this symbol? And it'll tell you, oh, this is the documentation for this symbol. Or you can be like, show me all references to this variable. And it'll be like, oh, here are all references to this variable, right? GoSimDB is a SQLite database, like a file that has similar capabilities. It has commands like callers, show me the direct or transitive callers of a symbol, or callees, what does a function call? Dead, like show me symbols with no callers. References, where a type is used, like sort of very useful commands when you're editing code. And it's pointed towards agents. So when your agent like runs, it can start with GoSimDB instead of running a LSP on the side. Just query that SQLite DB directly, which should be theoretically faster. And also, once the agent is done, it can diff the result from before and after it's edited and see like the changes using like a JSON flag, which is something that you as a human, you used the like LSP to edit, right? So you don't need that diff view when you're done. But for an agent, because, you might reset the context or maybe it compacted or whatever, having that diff view, I think, might be useful. So this project is all about just building that database, which before I even moved to the CLI bridge, which is another like project from Stefano, I was wondering, what do you think about this approach of like, instead of having a live LSP server, having a call graph symbol and call graph database that's just like a SQLite file?
I'm going to have to look closely at it. It sounds interesting. I like that he actually has this specific GoSimDB and GoPlease section where he says that GoSimDB complements GoPlease. It's not a replacement. And specifically says if you're editing in an IDE, use GoPlease. If you're using an agent, then this might be for you. So yeah, I'm going to have to look at it because I do use agents, of course, a lot.
Yeah, and very importantly, this is running on your machine. Like a lot of these AI style new tools, I almost immediately opt out of using because they're not private, right? You run them and they're like, oh, yeah, run this cool tool which helps your agent and also ships all your source code to my machine. So not with this one, luckily. Doesn't send source code or any data or telemetry, which I really appreciate. And like the reason theoretically agents should work well with this and have a better time is you get like fully qualified symbol names all the time, which I remember like using, Visual Studio, the old one. You have an ability to like turn on FQDNs for all your symbols. And usually they're really long, right? When you work in Java and you have to type like com dot, n dot, whatever until you reach a symbol. But I do end up and with agents sometimes like importing the wrong thing or because it's just like the same name, right? I think it's going to happen a lot with the UUID package where people like type UUID expecting the standard library one that's coming out, but the agent's just going to decide to import the Google one because that's very common. So maybe with this tool, you could avoid sort of these ambiguities. Generally, you shouldn't use this directly, I think. I think the point is to give your harness, like Cloud Code or whatever you're using, a plugin that uses like this CLI. Although this is just a CLI you can use and program around. So I think if you're into like, Go language analysis, you should look at this. This is very interesting. It mostly uses a standard library, of course, and it's a very new project as well. So we actually talked to Stefano, like he sent us to it like immediately after he released it. According to his benchmarks, this like saves a lot of tokens, which is very interesting compared to using the LSP. So if you're very cost aware about your tokens, he says it's lowering the results. I'm not sure. I don't mean to like doubt his benchmarks, but I'm going to need someone else to review it before I fully trust it.
I wouldn't be surprised because I see Claude doing all sorts of greps and stuff, which are very coarse for code analysis, because you have to grep much broader than you need to get everything with, when you're not AST aware. So I could easily see something like this saving tokens.
Yeah, but it's definitely, if it's that useful, then, and any of our listeners have any impact on it, like working at Anthropic or something, would be cool to check it out, specifically for Go.
Awesome.
All right.
I think we've been talking for more than 20 minutes, Shai. Should we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, let's go to the ad break. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, this program is supported entirely by you. We really, really appreciate it. The most direct way to support the show and help us continue this fun but expensive hobby is to support us via Patreon. We would like to thank Tom Vandenberg for joining as a Cup of Go Gopher at the full tier.
That's awesome. Thanks, Tom.
If you want to join awesome people like Tom and the rest of our audience, we would really, really appreciate it. And you can find all the links to the Patreon, past episodes, our email, the Slack group, our swag store, whatever, all in cupago.dev. That is cupago.dev. Very short URL. Not a lot of typing needed. If you'll go into it, well, let's see how fast John is. I found a bug in the homepage. Let's see if he finds it before you do. There is a bug in the homepage. Other than that, to support the show, you can definitely share and comment and like and do all the things. If you're listening to like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, rate it. And if you have a developer in your life that needs to learn about panic while dialing in Linux, or will be interested in trying out GoSimDB and CLI Bridge, send them an episode of the show. We really appreciate it.
Very cool. One programming note. You are, as you already mentioned, trying to fly out tomorrow. So next week, probably be here with a co-host, a guest co-host, I should say. And the week after that, probably just taking a break.
Yeah, we might take an episode off.
Yeah.
So just make sure to that week strictly use Elixir, right? Because you won't know about Go. So how could you ever program in it?
It's impossible if you can't listen to your cup of Go.
Impossible. Yeah, so I'm going to be off, hopefully an episode next week. And honestly, we'll take a break after. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great weekend, everybody. Program exited.